Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Always ready to dive in.
Today we're tackling something we all do constantly, thinking. But how often do we actually think about thinking?
Right. We kind of take it for granted.
Exactly. So to get meta on ourselves, we're diving into this presentation on 5 actionable strategies to improve thinking. What got my eye is the focus on actionable. We don't just want theory, we want stuff we can actually use.
Love that. And it really reinforces the idea that thinking is a skill. It's something we can train and improve, just like anything else.
Totally. Okay, so the presentation jumps right into a common struggle. Overthinking, that hamster wheel in your head. It suggests we stop the wheel, grab a pen and paper, and start writing those thoughts down to sort them out.
Externalizing those thoughts. I'm a huge proponent of this. It seems so simple, but
It does, right? But I gotta admit, I've never consistently tried it.
it's like magic. Seriously, think about how much our working memory can handle at once. Not that much, really. It's like a mental juggling act, and when we try to hold too many thoughts in the air, well, some are bound to drop.
So writing things down is like taking those juggling pins and setting them down carefully so we can actually look at each one.
Exactly. You free up that mental space to analyze things clearly. Plus, when you see your thoughts visually, patterns jump out, contradictions become obvious, and you can start to separate the signal from the noise.
Oh, that's interesting. It's like seeing the forest instead of being lost in the trees.
Yes. And this ties directly into the next strategy, which is managing future anxieties. Those what-ifs that can really spiral.
Ugh, the what ifs. The presentation actually points out that this kind of worry can be harmful, even if, and maybe especially if, the thing we're worried about never actually happens.
Right. It's like we're borrowing trouble from the future, paying interest on a loan we never even took out. All that stress, lost sleep, maybe even physical symptoms for nothing.
So the key is recognizing when we're doing it and redirecting that energy.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're stressing about a big presentation, don't waste energy on what if I mess up. Use that energy to rehearse, visualize success, or just chill out and calm your nerves.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that actually leads right into the third strategy, which is focus thought. Instead of trying to juggle all those thoughts at once, give your full attention to one thing at a time.
Yes. Monotasking instead of multitasking.
Well, I am the queen of multitasking. I always thought I was getting more done, but maybe not.
Our brains aren't wired for multitasking, really. Every time we switch focus, it takes time and energy to reorient. You end up mentally exhausted and making more mistakes. Focused thought allows for deeper understanding, creative problem solving, and ultimately, better decisions.
Like the difference between skimming a book and really immersing yourself in it. You get so much more out of the experience when you're present.
Perfect analogy. And once you've honed that focus, the presentation takes it a step further. Brainstorm multiple thoughts about that one thing. Don't just settle for the first solution that comes to mind.
Don't get stuck in a rut.
Exactly. Brainstorming helps us break out of those mental ruts and explore ideas we wouldn't normally consider. And the key here is to suspend judgment. No idea is too wild or impractical at this stage.
Let your imagination run wild, right? You never know what might spark that truly innovative solution.
Precisely. And finally, the presentation emphasizes clearing our minds before we even start thinking deeply about something.
It's like decluttering your workspace before you start a big project.
Yeah,
Hard to be creative when you're surrounded by chaos.
right. Mental clutter, those unresolved worries, to-do lists, the constant barrage of information, it all gets in the way of clear thinking and good decisions.
So how do we declutter our minds? Everyone always says meditation.
Meditation's great, but there are lots of ways. A walk in nature, listening to calming music, a few minutes of focused breathing, it can do wonders.
Okay, so let's recap. We've got write things down to sort your thoughts, manage those what-ifs, practice focused thought, brainstorm multiple solutions, and clear your mind before the deep dive.
5 powerful strategies. And remember, they're not just abstract ideas. They're tools you can start using today to make your thinking sharper, clearer, and more effective.
Experiment, see what works for you. And as you go about your day, here's something to ponder. If we distill those 5 strategies into one core principle, what is it? Control, intentionality, mental agility. What resonates with you?
Great question to leave everyone with.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time.
See you then.